Oh, were you going?
Okay, ready? Hello and welcome,
Harmonizing.
James.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hello and welcome back to the Weird and Proud podcast. It's Sam and
James.
James. We're in a silly, goofy mood. We're like slightly on the delusional side. This is gonna be a silly, goofy episode.
Sleep deprecation. I
Deprecation.
think that's
Deprivation.
the word. Deprivation. Wow, I'm even using wrong words.
That's when you
Restart
know.
this.
That's when you know James's
Restart the
brain.
show. Deprecation. Wow, that was bad.
Yeah, but at least like I'm gonna save that just like in my back pocket for when you make fun of me for using a wrong word. Just be like, just have that, just so you know.
You're gonna
You fucked
deprecate
up.
me?
Yeah. Hi everyone. Hope you are having a great week. We are back. The reason for the delusion today is we just got home from Florida.
Where you put on an absolutely phenomenal show.
It was so much fun. It was great show, great turnout. Just the joy it brings me to get to hug you guys in real life and just see you guys. It hits different.
And to those of you listening that were in the crowd that said, we listened to the podcast, I know I was out there moving around fast. I was collecting secrets, right?
Yes.
So I go into the crowd. Like when we do secrets, it's our favorite thing on the podcast. We do it live. I went out, I talked to some of you, and it just warms us both. And the first thing I do is when I run back in the back to tell Sam, I'm like, more and more people are telling me they're listening to the pod, and it
I
made my
know.
friggin' weekend. It was amazing. So thank you.
Yeah, this is like a project of love, and it's just so nice. It was just that's like to be able to perform and then meet you guys is because most of the time when we're doing this, obviously like we're alone, and like sometimes you do feel like you're speaking into the void a little bit. And so it was just I can't tell you guys how much it means to see you in real life and for you guys to come out to the shows, which speaking of course we have many more shows coming up: Long Island, New York City, Chicago, Boston, all at samantharansell.com/events. And again, we always do a meet and greet afterwards. So regardless, we will figure out a way to be able to see you guys and give you guys hugs. But it was so fun. But we did it was a quick little trip. We really left Friday afternoon. Show was Saturday, and then we got home. We had to leave this morning at like 4 a.m. It was like the only flight that I could get that was gonna get us home. At least we got home early. We were literally home by 10.
We
Flight
were
landed
only in Florida for like it was
30
less
hours.
than it felt
Yeah.
like it was less than like 68 hours.
But we made the most of it. Friday
Oh, it was
night,
fun.
we went to so we were in Fort Lauderdale. We went to like a little seafood spot. It was called the Rustic Inn, and it's been around since like the 50s, I think they said.
1955.
Yeah, and they had the best seafood. Of course, James got frog legs and gator. And we will have a vlog coming soon too. So I just need to edit that, obviously. So we'll be out sometime this week if you want to see us do that. But James your palate is insane.
I love to try the local stuff.
Yeah.
I love trying things that I can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of fresh gator up here.
No, there's not. So we got to have a fun little dinner, and then Saturday we did our pool. We stayed at like this Holiday Inn Express next to a Waffle House.
Shout out to Holiday Inn. That was an
Yeah,
amazing
actually,
stay. They did a
it
great job.
was. It was close to the airport. It was a great location. Obviously pretty cost effective, and we had a little pool that no one else was out there. It was cloudy, but I literally got a sunburn. If you're on YouTube, you can see like I literally got sunburn. You got a sunburn too.
I did a little bit.
Yeah, because we also have not been in the sun since last summer. Since Fiji, actually.
Yeah.
But and then we had the show Saturday night, and then we were out first thing this morning. But we're planning on maybe doing like a full Florida tour. We need to go to the Everglades. We need to go back to Key West. That was like one of the first places we went together.
I was talking to somebody at the show about how much I absolutely love Key West. Key West, the vibe in Key West, it's like you're in the islands,
yeah.
but you're not.
Yeah, it feels like you're in another country. It was just a great little weekend. Too short, but we'll be back soon. And we leave for Spain this weekend. So we have to figure out like if we'll do the podcast over there, we'll probably just shoot it before. But so much content, so much Spain content coming your way. We're like doing this whole little southern tour. We got a car, and it's gonna be me, my mom, and James. Just the little James, the little family trip with James. Um,
I can't wait.
I know. I
We
was
had
gonna
so
say,
much
I'm
fun
like,
last time.
yeah, I was gonna say, it's like
What do you
sounds
mean?
weird, but it's really not.
Your mom's always down to have a beverage in the afternoon. It's my
Yes.
favorite thing.
Yeah. Yeah. She is.
And I get to go snorkeling right in the Mediterranean.
Yep.
There's no complaints here.
No complaints. So yeah, so lots of fun content coming your way, but yeah, we are just running on a couple hours of sleep because by the time we get home from the show, and then our alarms went off at 4 a.m. this morning, so a little tired, but so it's just gonna be a little silly, goofy. We have some really fun. Well, I guess I wouldn't say fun, but you really kind of the last couple episodes I feel like we've done like some darker, crazy, like kind of spooky, weird stuff. Like with like the past that we talked about last week that that was like one of our highest viewed episodes, by the way.
Was it really?
Yeah. So we've done, kind of like some spookier stuff. We have some lighthearted, weird stuff today. We're going to talk about an octopus. We're going to talk about cicadas in James' Weird Corner.
And we may not have a formal weird watch, but I'm going to sprinkle in some weird watches throughout.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course we have some amazing weird secrets. Again, just making me giggle. You guys are so funny. I love listening to those too. Thank you for everyone who sends those in. So, without further ado,
Were we going to recap the NFL draft?
tempting, but I'm
Separate
so glad that
episode.
that's over.
Separate episode. Got it.
But I gotta say that it has some of the content from that has been pretty heartwarming.
Do you like it? Yeah. What parts did you find?
Well, it just is really cute. Like, like you get to see like people's dreams coming true,
Absolutely.
and the family reactions. I'm sure some of you guys have seen this on social media, but just like the girlfriends' reactions too.
Yep.
And there's always this debate of, if you have a girlfriend and your mom is right there and you just found out
Who
that
do you go to
who do you
first?
go to first? Your mom or your girlfriend?
There were a few really good examples of that from some of the Packer draft picks. Like there were some.
What
Really
so
good
what
ones.
do you think is the answer?
Most of the guys, it's funny. I think it depends where you are.
Yeah.
If they're from the South, they've leaned towards mom. And when they're from the North, they've gone towards the girlfriend first.
Interesting.
And the mom with that Midwest kindness waits.
Interesting.
I'm going to look more data up on that, but it seems to have some kind of
Yeah, I've seen like some interesting debates on that. And I saw that like if it's a girlfriend or like especially someone you've been only dating for a couple months or whatever,
I think that
always the mom.
I think that has more to do with it. How
serious is that? Yeah.
Because a lot of these same girlfriends that you see doing this, within the first year, usually after their first season, they're start seeing the engagement ones.
Oh,
like
yes.
A ton of the Packers. So last year, a bunch of the Packer rookies, like 3 or 4 of them got engaged this offseason.
Huh.
Yeah. So
with the same girl that they were.
Yep.
Well, that's, there have been some interesting reactions too. I forget who it was. This was like an older one, but it was like a wife and now they're not together anymore, but she was like a little too excited, or something. I don't know. It's funny the theories that you see.
You gotta love
from
the
like just
of the people.
Natural reactions, because that is such just like how you don't even have time to think. It's really like how you naturally react in a situation like that. When
picture it like this: you're sitting here,
yeah,
that your agent says, "Hey, somebody might be calling you."
Right.
We don't know who.
Yeah.
But someone's going to be calling you, and they want you to go open for them.
Right.
And the phone rings, and somebody goes, "Hey, do you have time to come to the Taylor Swift tour real quick?"
Right.
Like, what would they?
Then what's your? Yeah, you don't even have time to think about it. It really is just like
it's pure emotion.
Yeah.
Because so many of those guys too, they think they're going in the second round.
Yeah.
They drop to the 5th round. They might be thinking I've heard so many times, even guys that are in the Hall of Fame are like, once you drop in the draft, it goes through your head that you just might not ever play in
I
the
know
NFL.
that's always the sad part too. Is like then you think of all the people who didn't get the call and didn't get picked.
So some of the best ones are coming out today, but they don't get as viral on social media because it's the players that get picked in the last round, the 7th round, right?
Yeah.
Remember, Tom Brady was a 6th round pick.
Well, that's what the other thing too is like some of the best players though
Some great players come out late.
come in the
But there was a great one today of a guy. He was so stressed out. He didn't think he was going to get picked. He's a quarterback. Again, this was a Packer guy that got picked, but he's a quarterback. No, just didn't think he was going to get picked. And he was just hanging out in the pool. And he lives in
he
New
was like,
Orleans.
all right, give it up.
He was with his whole family was still there. Nobody left his draft party, but everyone knew he was going to be a later pick. Nobody left, and he just happened to be in the pool because he was stressed out. And the phone rang, and he like scrambled out of there super fast.
Yeah, some of the content has been. I will give it. But the fact that it was 3 days long and like you were watching the entire thing, you're insane. What were you gonna say?
His funny reaction was he yelled to his family, goes, "Everyone get your coats. We're going to Green Bay." And everybody yeah, it's cute. Because New Orleans family,
yeah. Cute. Love it.
Damn,
now,
I kept you on the draft for a long time. Win.
Well,
Big
it is,
win.
you know, I mean, obviously I wasn't watching as closely, but some of the reactions are cute. I will give it that.
They're very social media friendly.
Yeah. So anyways, let's get into some of the stuff we're talking about today, which the Weird Watch isn't, I mean, it's been out for a while, the octopus one you're talking about, right?
I'll have some other ones as we sprinkle them in. I've
Okay.
thought of a few others.
The weird watches will be sprinkled in during our first weird news story.
We
okay.
weren't really in taking in content the last week and this weekend because you had a lot of practice to do for your show.
Yeah.
So and I was watching the draft, so I wasn't going to watch anything
I know
else.
we haven't like really watched other, everyone's talking about Baby Reindeer right now, which we did talk about on the last episode.
If you haven't seen Baby Reindeer, watch that.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, that's kind of what everyone's talking about right now.
There's one catch-up weird watch for you.
What?
Baby Reindeer. I was talking to the people.
Right. Okay, so for the weird news story that's kind of like been taking over TikTok, of course, which I was thinking, I'm like, if they do take TikTok away, where am I going to get all my like, very niche.
Your news?
Yeah, my news. But, luckily we still have it for now. And this is something that, if you're on TikTok, you might have seen this, but you might not have because it's not as viral as I thought it would be. But it is about a family in Oklahoma that got a baby octopus that ended up being pregnant and having 50 other baby octopuses. Okay. So have you heard about this at all, James?
No,
okay.
and my eyes are very wide right now.
Yeah. Because I was like, this is kind of a good mix of like science and also, it kind of has a happy ending-ish. But so this family in Oklahoma, they have this 13-year-old son, and all he ever wants for any holiday, any of his birthdays, his dream in life is to have an octopus as a pet.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's obsessed with octopuses. I think he might be a little on the spectrum to you. He's extremely intelligent. He wants to be a marine biologist.
That was the first job I wanted.
I was gonna say, I was like, he actually like literally is giving you vibes.
I'm
like
about
this kid was literally.
Spoiler alert! I'm gonna spit out some octopus facts after this.
Yeah, you'll love this. You'll love this story.
I want to go meet this kid.
So he, so him and the family is doing a ton of research on like, okay, how could we really do this? And the dad is a dentist. And he does do a ton of research and like he explains in a lot of the TikToks that like, we've been reaching out to a bunch of aquariums, a bunch of, marine specialists. And of course, it's not legal in many states and there are only like certain octopuses that you really can have as a pet. But he found out that there is what's called a California 2-spot octopus.
Okay.
And they, again, it's not very common, but they found it in California that you can buy these baby octopuses.
Aww.
And the only thing is, like, this is probably the one type of octopus you can have indoors because it doesn't grow, like they said, to like a huge level, like a huge size. But the thing that's sad is a lot of the octopuses don't have a long lifetime.
No.
It's really like 12 to 18 months specifically for this type of octopus, depending on the type of, yeah.
Really? Okay.
once they get to be a female, or like once they get to be a female, once they get to be an adult,
Okay.
they have about 12 to 18 months. So they get this octopus, they bring him home, they have it in this big aquarium, and they named it Terrence, even though it's a female. And come to find out, they get it in October of 2023. By December, they find she's growing an insane amount and she's pregnant. And she gives birth to 50 baby octopi. So, what is, unique about this situation? Thank God, like, this family was well off, first of all, too. Like, like you can tell, like, they have some money, because what ends up happening is, thankfully for the internet and for TikTok, they start making all these TikToks and they get the attention of a guy. They find that there's this guy named Dr. Tim, and he's a marine biologist. He specializes in octopus and octopuses, octopi.
Octopi.
I want to make sure. Octopus. He specializes in octopi, and he like kind of helps guide them through. So like, what the hell do I do? All of a sudden they have these, you know, 50 babies. But again, too, because the son is so obsessed with the octopi, what's really sad is also about this type of octopus, the two spot, whatever. And I think it's for a lot of other octopus too, but they, once they give birth, they stop eating. And their main job is really to protect their babies. And because of that, like in the wild, they die pretty soon
Pretty
after
quick.
they give
Yep.
birth. So they were like, oh my God, so that means that Terrence is gonna die soon. So they, normally within like a week or so, the mom dies. And they also find out too that the babies try and fight each other. So they have to separate each one of the
50
babies.
octopi.
Yeah. So they have to like set up. So again, like thank God that they have like the money. Like they end up spending thousands of dollars for like all of these huge different aquariums set up throughout their house, like in their bathroom, in the kitchen. Oh, I think he also ends up saying that they ended up renting like an apartment just to set up different aquariums everywhere. So like they could almost have like mini aquariums inside these big aquariums. So he has like almost like these little dishes
In
set
each
up
one.
in aquariums.
Interesting.
And like octopi too, like with any animal, like you can't just like drop an octopus into new water, and you
Nope.
have to have all these special filters, and it has to be the right temperature
The
and
right pH, the right salt level.
yeah, like you should see the operation that they had to set up for this. And they're calling like all of these aquariums and they're like, can you help us? Like, will anyone like take these babies? And all of these like huge, the biggest aquariums are like, it's too much work. Like, it's way too much work. You have to feed them individually.
Wow.
They only eat like specific baby shrimp that you have to like feed them. It's crazy. So, and in the wild, like they're lucky if like the mom, like 5% of her babies live.
Yeah. It's a
And
numbers game.
so far they've kept like now, so that was in December. So fast forward, it's almost May. And I think like over 50% of them have survived.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And the mom's still alive
Oh, wow.
because they've been hand feeding her.
So if it's easy for her to get food,
She will.
and maybe in some way instinctually, if she knows her babies are safe, like
Yeah.
she hasn't seen any predators.
Yeah.
There's no predators
Right.
around.
Right.
Right.
So she can kind of chill. But yeah, so now and finally with this help of this Dr. Tim guy who just sounds like an amazing guy. He's like also apparently he's retired. He's been retired for like 10 years. He's like in his 70s. And he's like going over to help this family
Oh, that's
like raise these
cute.
baby octopus.
You need to show me this. Yeah, this is cool.
I know you would love it. And the kid's so cute. Like when they finally like set it up and Terrence has her new house and they're like freaking out, having, so happy. And then, she gives birth within
That's
2 months.
so cool.
And yeah, so they're like,
where do the weirdos go and look this up?
So
that they
yeah, I
can
was gonna
follow it?
say, so if you want to go and check out some of the videos and the TikTok, so his handle is Doctopus. DOCTOKTOPUS. And yeah, and so far, like to be able to have like over, I think they like there's still like 30 babies, so over 50% have been able to keep alive. And now that they've kept them alive for so long, like the baby phase is really hard to like try and just like you literally have to feed them every certain. It's literally like a full-time job.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And so now they do have homes for the rest of the babies
Oh, good. Like at
at aquariums
aquariums,
and
stuff
like,
like that?
yeah, and marine centers and stuff like that. Because also too, the other thing was like people were like, why don't you just release them back into the wild?
No.
And you can't now. It's like now that there are certain bacterias that grow on them,
Yeah.
like if they were to go back into the wild, they would just they wouldn't survive.
Nope. Water
So
temperature, the ocean temperature changes, right?
yeah, and again, they said specifically because there is like some sort of bacteria that'll grow on them that, now that they're not used to it, or there's a bacteria in the ocean that if they
Yes.
were to just be thrown into the ocean, it would kill them.
It's kind of like the theory between like if you're even as a human, if you're too clean, it hurts your immune system.
Right.
Same theory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They're just not used to it. So, yeah, so it ended up like kind of being this happy ending. And, again, the amount of time and money that this family, again, they think they're just like getting this little octopus. It'll be around for a year or so. And his kid gets to live out his dream. And then he goes to like full time. I mean, he's 3 in the morning. They're cleaning out filters and stuff because he had so many aquariums. Some of them were like leaking, and he was like, he had to get all new plumbing and like replace flooring and that.
Oh my
Like,
God.
it's crazy. But this kid is so cute, and definitely check it out. I mean, the fact that, again, they didn't just give up too. Like, if you were to have 50 babies and then you knew all of the work that you were going to have to do to like try and keep these baby octopus alive, like a lot of people would be like, just flush it or like, just kill them,
Yep.
or whatever.
Yep.
But they like went above and beyond. It's a cute story. So that's your weird, good news, silly, goofy story of the week. And definitely worth checking out if TikTok isn't banned yet.
And a weird watch
Mm.
that's heartwarming and educational and fantastic is called My Octopus Teacher. I brought it up before as a
How
weird
old
watch.
is that?
I think it came out in like 2020 over the
Oh, okay.
COVID.
So it's not super
No,
old.
it's not super old. And I love a good rewatch. I know you're not as always, you love some of your classics.
Yeah.
I can watch something like if I even seen it a couple years ago and it was good. I like a good rewatch when you just want to relax the mind.
Yep.
I do. And My Octopus Teacher, it's on Netflix. It's one of those beautiful Netflix documentaries that's revolved around nature. And it was about a guy who goes diving every single day. He was a photographer at one time, like excuse me, a professional for I think it was a National Geographic. Like the
Yep.
guy obviously knows his way around film and filming nature.
Yeah.
Well, that was a very high intense game. I mean, you're out filming like 16, 20 hours a day. You're traveling all over the world. You don't know what countries you're in and sleeping, right? So he had lived a very stressful life. And he started filming this documentary because he started going diving every day. And he just started kind of reconnecting with nature rather than nature as something to view and use as entertainment, but educational entertainment. He started diving and he formed literally a relationship with this octopus.
Yeah. Don't they become like besties?
And that's why it's called My Octopus Teacher, is because the octopus taught him so much about being in the world again and being present around it. And it's such a beautifully well done documentary. And it's absolutely worth a watch because that connection that him and this animal form, it's just one of those odd connections that now we see more because if you follow animal stuff, anything on social
Yeah.
media, you see some of them, but they do
Yeah.
exist out there. And it really is intriguing to watch.
Because octopuses are like really smart
And
too.
that's the next thing I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
So there's a funny story, and I'll have to find which aquarium it was. So in a lot of these tanks, octopus and other animals that can't jump out of a tank, a lot of times at these aquariums, their tanks aren't covered; they're open.
Well, and that's what they were freaking out too, because Terrence was trying to escape from their
They can
aquarium.
crawl over stuff, right?
Yeah.
But they don't want to. If they want to, they know not to crawl out of the water because they know they're going to
Right.
die.
Right. Right.
So there is a story at an aquarium that this one little octopus was so annoyed by a light that was on at night at the aquarium that it squirted water at the light till it shorted it out and it like ruined some of the power in the aquarium because of it.
Oh,
Like it was
relatable.
squirting water at a light. Yeah, exactly.
That's
True octopus story.
hilarious.
Octopus are known to use tools.
I was just looking up facts about octopus,
They
and that was they're smart enough to use tools.
they
Like,
use funny how
yeah, they'll use 2 halves of a coconut shell to
they
make themselves a mobile home.
they know how to make like any you know um oh my gosh, why am I my brain is really slow today. they know how to make shells and protections out of things,
Yeah.
but they've also been known to use those things as weapons.
Yeah.
They also can punch other animals. They will playfully punch other fish. They've been observed to punch fish for almost no reason, just because it kind of
Love it.
entertains
So
them.
relatable.
Yeah, like they are absolutely hilarious. Those are seeing a big live octopus. I think I saw one with your dad a long time ago, but snorkeling to see a
Yeah.
good octopus
Octopuses
is
are
one of kind of
cool.
my little snorkeling dreams. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Octopuses, they're very interesting. And it is, um, you know, I've seen a lot about like just how smart they are, and just the fact too that like they have a big brain and a big heart. Apparently they have a huge heart, and they um I always love that they can regrow
they
limbs.
care for the territory around them, like you said, right? They
Yeah.
do. Well, they punch fish and have fun with stuff. Like they also care for the and you already said they're actually good parents.
Yeah.
Like right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yep. So kind of just like a fun little weird story that like I was obsessed with, but don't obviously lesson learned about, he's like, I would never suggest doing this. Like, at this point, he's like,
But again, it's
it's a
something
learning
that
lesson.
parents
But
maybe do for their kids. So that's a beautiful
right. I
story in
mean,
and of
at the end
itself.
of the day, the kid, like the son, is like having the time of his life. It's inspired him so much to like look more into octopus and like do all this research. And, like his son's going to be like the next Dr. Tim, which,
And
this
imagine,
guy's done so
well,
much.
then think about it, right. You could say, well, the family is spending so much money there. What else could they be doing for society? But they're being a good parents to their kid and giving him an
Yeah.
opportunity. Imagine what he goes on to do.
Imagine his college essay.
Yeah. Oh my God. He's getting in. And that's the thing.
Like he's going to go into any school he
What could
wants to.
he do to help marine life down the road? Like
Well,
this
that's what it
kid
is.
could
Like
become
he could be
very important
this
to helping down the road.
Dr. Tim guy
Yeah.
who's changed, like he's done so much research on octopus, and it's a really cool story. I feel so weird. I feel like I've said octopus, puss. I've never said puss so many times in my life.
I think that it's both. You were saying it before, and now my brain is going. I think you can say
Octopus.
octopuses and octopi.
Yeah.
I
Octopus.
think it's both.
I'd rather say octopus.
I think that's a James Bond thing.
What?
One of the Bond girls was named Octopussy
Wait, really?
back in the 70s. Yeah, I think
Huh.
that was
That's funny.
actually one of the Bond girl names.
All right. On to James for James Weird Corner.
Oh, let me get prepared for
You
it.
had found this. I've been hearing about this. I feel like this has been also on social media everywhere.
It better be. It's awesome.
And I'm glad to see that it somewhat doesn't affect us to a degree.
It does a little bit. It could.
Oh, it does. Okay, well,
Yeah,
tell the people.
We're in the colored map that this could affect.
Great, amazing.
So, actually, and thanks for. I had a really good opener, but they already know kind of what it's going to be about.
What?
But what I was going to say is there is an event happening that is much, much, much more rare than the eclipse that we just saw.
What is it,
But
James?
you already told them it was cicadas. So
did I say it out loud?
Yeah, you did.
I don't think I did.
But it's cicadas.
It's cicadas.
So
the cicadas are coming.
So why this is so big? Yes, cicada. It's called a brood, and
Brood.
a cicadas broods live underground for. Some of them live for different amounts of times. Some of them live like 13 years underground, chewing on roots and growing. Other broods live like 17 years, right?
Yeah.
Well, we just happen to be in one of those timing cycles where there's like two, maybe even more massive broods coming out at the same time.
Okay.
So again, you can just picture like an insect infestation where trillions, literally it should be trillions of bugs will be coming out of the ground. Trillions.
When is this happening?
So this started about, I heard 3 or 4 days ago, and that's why I might have lost
literally
some touch
happening
with it.
now.
They knew it was happening this year, but some of the elements as to why they couldn't exactly predict it is one, scientists still don't know why that is the time cycle. Like that's so hard to figure out. Why are some 13 years? Why are some 17 years? Why the hell don't they just come out every year? Like, what is the purpose of this, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the same kind of related to the octopus babies and why an octopus mom might have 50 children.
Yeah.
Numbers.
Yeah.
Also, scarcity. If the over the billions of years that these insects possibly could have been around, right?
Yeah.
Well, probably more like hundreds of millions, but maybe in the billion. I should look that up. But that over time for survival, the ones that came out less frequently and came out in huge drones, like there's not enough birds in the US to eat all of these cicadas.
Yeah.
And they come out for a few days and all of a sudden, and a bunch of them are going to die, but they're also a lot of them are going to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And they're going to go back down and they're going to lay eggs, and that cycle will start all over again. So there's going to be like literally to the point of perhaps a cicada eclipse. Like if they're all flying through the sky at the same time.
Wait, what?
It could cause shadows. It'd look almost like a cloud.
Shut
Coming
up.
through the air like a cloud in front of the sun.
Where is it going to get hit the most?
So where they're getting hit the most,
like who should be, and it's happening right now. Like, do we know? Like,
this is called
all spring.
I did look up the broods. It's the Great Southern Brood and the Midwest Brood are the two major ones that are that are coming out.
Oh my God.
It's mostly, you know what? And the article that I pulled up, the other one has the map on it. It's mostly in the eastern part of the Midwest. So when I think Midwest, being from Wisconsin, it's more, not that I say these states and you even know where they are on a map, but Ohio, Indiana,
wow, hurtful.
Probably the Virginias, I think were some of the ones I saw.
So we're going to get more of like the Midwest. Like,
well,
where the
and
ones
then
that we're
of course
getting, the
I think
ones.
There's going to be some, here we go, in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, but definitely Indiana. Oh, it does go as far as Missouri, Southern Illinois. It's really the Midwest. And then the central eastern part is that West Virginia, it looks like, is going to get hit the hardest.
Really?
But yeah, that's look up the
oh my God,
cicada
that's
map.
So crazy.
It's all across the Midwest to the East Coast. And trillions of insects will be flying around, and it will not be for very long. And the reason why we're talking about it now is you'll see them much more on social media. You're going to start seeing a ton of posts. Again, they don't know why these insects start coming out, but they do know the soil needs to be around 64 degrees. So again, in certain parts of the country, it's a
depending
different
on when it warms up. Yeah,
every brood's a little different. They do know that once a few of them start going, that the rest of them just happen to pop out. They all kind of feel off each other.
Yeah.
And then they also know that when they all start coming out, like you can't predict it. Like all of a sudden it starts. And about 4 days ago, I'd have to look at the exact date. I think it was a farmer started noticing some of these coming out. And so once you see them, the entomologists go crazy. Like they're going to study this. Like there's so much research.
Yeah, I was just saying this hasn't happened in over 200 years. That two broods come out at the same time.
This amount coming out hasn't happened in our country for over 200 years.
Great. So, love that.
Absolutely way more rare than a
great
eclipse. Anything.
Amazing. No, I just love all of these like once in a lifetime things.
That is absolutely. This one is
like,
big. Like,
literally,
absolutely.
can there just stop being events that are like once in a lifetime happening in my lifetime?
Oh, and I can't wait for people to be like, oh, it's the 7th.
Well, that's a lot of end of the world. Yeah.
No, it's predictable.
It's just bugs doing bug things. Just bugs being bugs.
And just with how prevalent social media is now, there's going to be a lot more data to look at, and there's going to be some really interesting footage that people get from this just because more people are aware of it.
Right. Well, there was also, I was trying to look up when you were talking about this, there was one, and again, if you're chronically online like I am, there was this one outbreak of these spiders.
Yeah. Yep.
And it would like take over someone's house, like to the point where like you couldn't leave your house. It was like layers of spiders. Insane. Like the dogs couldn't even go outside. They would be all over, like from like a horror movie.
Was that in Brazil?
It was somewhere in the US.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Well, this again, back to the excitement of the social media from a real nerd perspective.
Yeah.
Where was social media 13 years ago?
Right. Well,
how many people
Facebook
had,
or like MySpace? Yeah.
How many people had, more importantly,
not the same.
How many people had cameras on their phones?
Yeah.
Like,
well, 13 years ago. Yeah, but I know what you mean. It's not the same.
Did that
13 years ago? Yeah.
Smartphones, how good were cameras 13 years ago?
Right.
There were definitely,
and there wasn't TikTok or the
with
social media.
But there were also still a ton of people with flip phones and stuff.
With
like
BPs?
BPs. There were a lot of people with flip phones, like
yeah. No,
especially in parts of the country we're talking about. Like, yeah. There's going to be some great social media stuff out there.
Great. Keep your eyes peeled. See, this is why we need TikTok. I need to
Cicadas.
see the cicadas taking over your houses. No, that's so scary. Thank God, we're not in like one of those, like some of these, even just being in Florida and like, they're talking about all these different like alligators, bugs, snakes, like some of those snakes that you
Oh,
were
I
showing
want to
me.
go see an anaconda.
I'm like, thank God we don't live in one of those places where you do get like a crazy bugs. I mean, the worst we get is mosquitoes.
I have a completely related yet unrelated weird watch for the cicadas.
What?
I said I was going to sprinkle in weird watches throughout.
Okay. What is it?
What's that crazy old horror movie that you like with the scary insect looking thing?
With the scary insect
Jeepers
looking?
Creepers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's
What about it?
What if that was just a giant cicada? What if this time a giant
Sure.
cicada comes out and it starts
And
murdering
it's a
people?
serial killer.
Yeah.
Something to think about. Then I would really start thinking it was the end of the world, though.
If Jeepers Creepers came out.
Oh my God, that is a great movie. All right, James. I think it might be time for what?
We're gonna do secrets already?
Already? Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Or are we gonna talk about the 10 places you can't go?
Oh, did you want to? The only thing, so James found a really interesting article, the 10 places that humans can't go. And I mean,
There's probably more than that. We can save that for
yeah, I was going to say that's going to be, because I feel like I need to, like, there's a couple of those places we need to look more into.
whatever.
But spoiler alert, teaser for next week.
You can cut that out. You can edit this out. 36 minutes around.
No. The people get, they're used. This is as authentic as it gets.
That's what I love about it.
What?
It's authentic.
It's authentic. No, we have some good secrets. What?
Before we start the song, can I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
What was your favorite secret from the live show this weekend? Because we do secrets on stage. And secrets on stage, even though actually you singing TikTok Star might be my favorite part because it's your original song. I do love TikTok Star every time you sing it. I do love the secret so much. What was your favorite secret from it?
Well, yeah. So if you come to the live shows, or if you've been to a live show, you know this. But what we do is, so James goes around before the show.
Yep.
And before the show starts, while people are sitting down, which is why, get there a little early.
Feel
if
free
you
to say
want
hi to me.
and come
Sometimes
say hi to James.
people are kind of like, I can tell that they might recognize me. It's okay. Say hi.
He's not too scary in real life. But we have people write down their secrets on paper and anonymously, to my knowledge. But James will go and collect them. James will know what obviously who they are. But he gets the secrets, writes their names on another piece of paper, and then this is like towards the end of the show, we bring the secret holders up on stage, and then I read anonymously the secrets aloud, and then
you do. I think you also do a good job. You introduce
every
the people
person
to the crowd.
Yeah, so people know like their vibes.
Because the crowd, you and the crowd will have part of the job to do.
Yeah, because then the audience helps decide whose secret belongs to whose. So it's kind of like a gameplay on secrets, just to make it fun, make it interactive. But we got some good ones this weekend. Every time we do this, we always have secrets, and I'm like, that's insane. One person gave birth in a shower.
That was my favorite one. She accidentally gave birth in a shower.
One girl poops once a week. Chronic constipation girl.
Chronic constipation
if you're out there.
But so let me touch on that. The secret, getting the people up on stage, the secrets on paper that they had written down were really good.
Yeah.
But actually the stories they were telling related to the secrets.
Yeah, because then I get to ask more about it once they're on stage.
Oh my gosh.
So we've always, like every time I feel like we get.
She pooped once a week.
She
knew it was on Tuesdays.
Yeah, she only poops on Tuesdays.
She even knew the day. She's like, it's on Tuesdays. And you said, how big is it? And she's like, oh, it's horrible. Like she destroys the bathroom.
It's so funny. It's so fun. So yeah, even more reason to come to the show.
I love Secrets Live.
Yeah. And if Tuesday Pooper is out there, I love you. That was amazing. And we got some poop ones. We do have some funny poop ones. Sometimes I think too, a lot of these, like, they just spark like people to be like, oh, I remember I did that one time.
Yep.
Similar. So
Much like I like a rewatch on a movie, I don't mind hearing a secret. If you've got something related,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Call it in.
I cut
What?
off the song. You still got to do the song.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Ready for secret, 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 secret.
Oh, good ending. I like the little soft in there. Nice.
Thank you. It is that time where we go through your weird secrets that you've called in about this week. As a reminder, you can also call in and leave us a weird secret at
SpeakPipe.
That's speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. Again, speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. Always anonymous. You can leave up to a minute and 30 seconds. And, we normally will throw out some themes, but really, the world is your oyster. Whatever, if it's weird to you, we love it. So call us in. What?
Strong point. If it's weird to you, we do love it. Don't think it
Yeah.
has to be just.
It doesn't,
If
like
it's
have to
weird,
be
it's
whatever
weird.
we did last episode.
It's not just weird. It's weird and proud. So just be
Right.
proud of it.
Just be proud. And it's again, it's like we will. I love almost the ones that are so out of pocket too, and ones that like I haven't, or we haven't given as an idea, and it's just so random. Those are like kind of the best ones too. But not that we don't love all of them, but call us in. What's the harm? What's the harm? It's anonymous. All right, James, are you ready
Prepared.
for the first voicemail? All right, here we go. This is kind of like a mix of some of our favorite types of weird stuff you guys call in with. Here we go.
Hi guys, love you, love the pod. Here's my story. Me and my fiance have been together for over 6 years. When we were together for only 4 months, we did a little getaway in New Hampshire. We're originally from Mass. We ate a brownie on the way to a hike. We get to the waterfalls and I start freaking out, like massive, massive panic attacks. A weed brownie, obviously. Massive, massive panic attacks, like saying these creepy New Hampshire people are going to kill us, like freaking out, freaking out. We run back to the car, we get back to the Airbnb, go to sleep, wake up, and I'm fine. Like I'm kind of like high the next day still. And so we go to drive home, and I think the brownie just like needs to like get out of my body. And he's driving home, and I'm like literally clutching the side of the car, like we need to stop. Like I'm gonna poop my pants. Like I'm literally going to poop my pants. And we had been together for 4 months. And he's like, okay, okay. So we like pull over off the highway, and like it's Sunday in Hick, New Hampshire. There's no gas stations open, like nothing's open. I'm like, pull over on the side street. He pulls over on the side street. We end up at a school, and it's August, so the school's not in session. I'm like, pull over. We pull into the parking lot of the school, and I throw him a towel. I thrust the towel at him, and I'm like, wrap me. Like when you're a kid on the beach, your mom like wrap a towel around you to change. I had him wrap the towel around me, like, don't smell and don't look. And he's like, okay. And yeah, took a big poop on a school parking lot. Yeah, and that's my story.
Classic. That's love.
There's a lot, and I love all of it.
Yeah, it was a journey, and that's why I was like, it's kind of like a little bit of a couple things
It's
that
like
we
a
love to
three
hear.
for. There's like
Yeah,
a 3 for 1. I thought we were gonna get 2, and then we got 3 out of that.
Yeah,
4
it's kind
actually.
of a gorgeous little weekend getaway, and that's when that's your man's. Because there are some situations like that when it's early on in a relationship that either can make or break.
There's one of the 4 that I'm going to make sure we cover all the 4 parts that I saw in that story.
Yeah.
That's absolutely one of them.
Yeah.
He's a keeper right away.
Yeah,
like
that's
if you
when
survive that, and
yeah, because that's risky. Even now, I don't even know if I would.
I know you would if you had to go that
if I
bad.
really did, but yeah, that's rough.
But also for her, good for her, just like testing it. After 4 months and you're doing a weekend getaway, you better find out how somebody's going to react that way to that.
Right.
You got to check it out.
All
right. So the love story is
the love
one.
story.
That's part. So
gorgeous love story.
The love story. What was another one for you out of that story?
Well, just the weed, obviously the weed brownie,
brownie too.
Yeah.
Freaking out, thinking she's gonna get murdered.
Yeah, that's a lot of these times with some stuff, like I wonder, I always hear these stories of people freaking out on too much, and it's risky with a brownie. You always hear it when it's on edibles because, or like, especially too if someone's like made it themselves.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't gone to like the weed store, like a dispensary to get one,
Because they have all the dosages for
all
you.
the dosages, and it's all like sometimes too if you're just baking a pan at home, like one gets more of the butter than others or whatever. They're not mixed properly. So that can always be risky. Like that's, whenever I hear horror stories like that of like people freaking out, it's always from like a brownie that's been baked at home from a friend.
One of the live
Lessons learned.
secrets was the girl in Jamaica. She
Yes.
took some Jamaican stuff, thought the butler was going to kill her.
Yeah, that's right. That was another good one.
So this whole edible thing, this is getting
know.
more and more prevalent now.
Yeah.
We're hearing a lot of edible stories.
Yeah. Well, just you gotta be careful or go to the weed store or just, start out smaller. Like some people try to be a hero and you can't. I tell about my story about the mushrooms.
The
Don't
hero story.
Don't be a hero.
The third thing I got out of that, she must watch a lot of true crime to think that it's like a murder mystery in the middle of the woods in New Hampshire.
That's the mushroom. I mean the mushroom. The brownie will do that too.
Brownie will do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've taken too much, you might start getting a little paranoid. But yeah, start smaller. But it was a gorgeous story, and that really that's a good test of love.
It's a great story.
Because again, that either like makes or breaks. They're always, they always say like the first hurdle, in a relationship really says a lot about the other person, and that the fact that he held up that towel for you. Well, I think a lot of men would be like, no.
Fourth part of the story.
What?
Pooping in a school parking lot.
Yeah, thank God it was August because that can be risky too.
That's like jail time.
Yeah.
That's jail time.
And thank God you didn't do it like on the playground. Like I was nervous for a sec. I was like, please don't tell me you're pooping on a slide or something. But parking lot, that'll wipe away. That's fine. But gorgeous story. Thank you so much for calling in. Just relatable and a little bit of everything, all in one. Okay, this one is kind of crazy. But it's worth it till the end. So here, I'm just gonna play it for you. Here we go.
Hey Sam, love you, girl. So a few years ago, my cousin kind of set me up with this guy when I was in her wedding, and so was he. And we totally hit it off. And after the wedding, we kept in touch even though we lived in different states. And I was seriously considering moving like halfway across the country, because I was in deep. I thought he was like the best thing ever. And then he just kind of stopped like calling, and we just kind of stopped talking, and I was very disappointed. But then years later, so that was back in like 2016, a couple of years ago, I creeped on his Facebook, and there was all these posts. Like all he had posted since the time he had kind of ghosted me was about his grandmother, and apparently she was freaking murdered in the assisted living facility that she was living in, by one of the staff there. And I looked at like when he started posting those things, and it was around the same time that he stopped talking to me. So that is really terrible. But I'm gonna send you another snap just for your ears so you get a little more info.
So she ends up messaging, I know her cousin.
Oh.
So she sends another voicemail. Obviously, I'm not going to play it, but she names, and I know who her cousin is. So that's why I'm like, what? So obviously, you probably don't know a ton about the story, but like now I'm like, wait, where did this happen? Because that is like my worst nightmare. Like thinking about being in like nursing homes or like eventually, like, when my parents do get older to a place, like thinking about nursing homes and like the horror stories that you hear that come from them. And also, like, this is a lesson. Like, if a guy ghosts you, for my ladies out there who are, talking to guys he ghosts you, it could be because his grandmother was murdered. Don't take it personally.
Yeah, don't take it personally.
Literally, don't take it personally. But that's just, I feel like that also makes me think of Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Well, we also had a call recently where somebody thought their grandfather was murdered.
Oh, right. Yeah, but that wasn't like a
No,
nursing
it's
home
not nursing
situation.
home.
But yeah.
Lot, we're
I know
fa-
why
we're
leave the elderly alone. Like,
leave
what
these
did they
people
do to
alone. They
you?
have lived a hard life. They went through a hell of a lot more than we had to.
Yeah, right.
Leave these people alone.
But now I like need to know like more about like what happened and like were they ever was there's justice for Granny?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's the most important.
Justice for Granny.
That's what we need.
Hopefully that place was shut down. Because that is like you hear some of these horror stories about nursing homes and like you think that like, you know, especially like your parents, your grandmother, you know, whatever older family members going to this nice place where they're retiring. And then you hear like there was like a documentary or docu-series out on this about like some of the cruelty that goes on in nursing homes.
And
which is so scary. Like, why would you like an elderly person? It's the same thing as like along my lines, like the things that like I don't fucks with or like can't really listen to. Animals, obviously, animal abuse, children, older people.
Yeah, they can't protect themselves.
Right.
Well, they can, but it's
Right.
harder to
Right.
it's harder to do that. I am also going to do just a public service announcement, much like when there's a bad story about a cop who isn't good. Right? There's still
Oh my God.
hundreds
please,
of thousands
yeah,
of cops,
of
and I know there are,
course.
and I know you know that. I just like to say it, just
Of
to
course.
state that
Yes,
there
no, that's a
might be some
good
people
idea.
on here that listen that take care for elderly people.
Totally.
We love you. We
totally.
because there's a lot of I've had to use someone for that for my parents before.
Totally.
So I know
totally.
that's very
there
important.
of course. Yeah, no, this is more of the very rare exception to the rule. It's not like this that happens everywhere. Hopefully, I mean, I would hope not.
But there are some facilities out there that are probably a little more about money than really caring for people.
And that's
Follow the money.
Follow the money. I know. It's yeah, of course there yeah. If there are because we have a lot of nurses that are out there, you know, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, you know, to some degree, one way, shape, or form of taking care of elderly. But it's so I just can't imagine, like purposely. But girl, let us know if we can look it up.
Was there justice for Granny?
We just need to know if there's
Big
justice for
question.
Granny.
Yeah.
I can't sleep at night not knowing if there was justice for Granny. All right, James, are you ready for the last
Prepared
secret? Here we go.
Hi, Sam. Hi, James. I'm listening to your new Weird Secrets, talking about poop, talking about your brother Ian. And I just wanted to tell you that there was one time I started working at a random A&P. It was like one of my first jobs, and this guy was giving me a ton of attention, who I was working with, and I instantly didn't care that he was bad for me. I just loved that I was getting all this attention. Childhood trauma unlocked. And he started becoming obsessive, wouldn't leave me alone, and one thing led to another, and he was showing up. Obviously, we worked together. He was showing up at my house. He was showing. It was too much, and I got really upset, and I pooped in a bag, and I smeared it under his car door handles. And I don't know how he knew it was me, but he never spoke to me, or I never physically saw him ever again. So smear campaign at its best. Bye.
Smear campaign. That's a gorgeous one. What?
She's tough. I like her.
Yeah, you're a bad bitch. That's one way to get rid of someone. You
I don't even
want
know
around.
if that's illegal. Like, let me throw it out there. That's one of those things that you just kind of took it into your own hands rather than reporting it. Or you know what? Here, I'm gonna that. You know what? Smearing poop underneath somebody's door handles if they're harassing you should be legal. I don't think that should be illegal.
Well, it's the thing is, it's like I don't think it is.
If it's unprompted, if you did it to somebody as a joke,
right,
that's maybe not right.
Right.
But I have a story related to this.
You do?
Yeah.
Did you do something like this?
We did.
Why?
Well, because in college, some kids were smashing our pumpkins.
Oh,
and I think I've told you the poop pumpkin story. Again, we did not go and attack children, but they had been smashing our pumpkins a lot, and we kept going to buy new ones and carving them, right? And so then what we decided was, well, we're going to poop in one of these pumpkins.
Oh, okay. Yes, I remember this story. Yeah.
So what we did to get them back is all of us different roommates pooped in the pumpkin. Now, part of the fun was if you won the video game, you could poop first. But as you lost the video game, you pooped last. So you had to poop in a pumpkin that like 4 other dudes had already gone in. So again, remember, these are like some rugby players and stuff too. So we had this poop-filled pumpkin sitting out in the front yard, and some kids came to smash it, and we heard them come that night, and we instead of going out because they could do it on the weekends because we a lot of us worked at the bar, right?
Yeah.
So we weren't there a lot. Some of the guys stayed home. I was working. And when I got home, they were like, "Oh my God, we got them good." Apparently, these kids came and they turned the lights off and pretended they weren't there, like my roommates. And they were like playing video games in the basement. And they heard the kids screaming, like, "Oh my God, is that shit?" Like screaming about it. So
That's it. That's actually that's harmless and like yeah, if you're messing with the pumpkins, like
it
I
was,
can shit in my
they
own
had
pumpkin.
they had like two other previous different pumpkins they had already busted up. So we're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
we're gonna get these guys back.
That's hilarious. Yeah, sometimes the best way
So
is
that's why I applaud this. Well
yeah,
done.
you got to take things into your own hands. And listen, it worked, but
She's not using a weapon. It comes from your own
no,
body.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
natural.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But that is funny. He knew it was you. I wonder how. I hope like there's like a camera of you like shitting in a bag and smearing under his car. Such a gorgeous story. Thank you so much for calling in. Great, like like little mix of secrets this week. And of course, don't forget that you can always call in and leave us your weird secret at speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. Again, I'll put it in the description of the podcast as well. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you are following on YouTube. And we're almost at 10,002 followers on Instagram, which would be so exciting. So Weird and Proud Pod on Instagram. Make sure you're following along for some little silly little clips and just also, updates and things like that. So yes.
Remind us of the shows coming up.
I did in the beginning.
Oh, I was gonna say remind again.
Well, remind again, everyone, to get tickets to the show, SamanthaRamsell.com/events. We can't wait to give you hugs in person. And yeah, if you love the secrets, we do a whole section on it. Obviously, there's stand up, there's singing, there's James, there's
Meet and greets.
surprise things, meets and greets, all the things. We can't wait to see you coming up soon in May and June. Coming right up. I feel like summer's gonna go by so fast.
Coming up soon in May and June.
Coming up soon in May and June. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being a part. Oh, also, when I put out last week, what people like for like the names, weirdos is like other podcasts use weirdos a lot.
They do.
But someone said weirdlings.
Someone who said weirdlings. You're my kind of wordsmith.
Do you like weirdlings?
Do you like weirdlings?
I'm gonna put that up as like a poll too,
Yeah.
and see if that's because I like my weirdlings.
We need to come up with a couple others just to compare with
yeah,
weirdlings.
Yeah. But that was a front runner. I saw someone had commented weirdlings.
I'm a big fan of weirdlings.
Yeah, I was into that. So yeah, we love you guys so much. We hope you have an amazing week. Soon it's gonna be May.
The Justin Timberlake thing.
Hilarious. So original.
I still do laugh at the memes that come through.
I know,
with
it's
that.
always every time. All right, we will see you guys on the next one. Love you, weirdo or weirdlings.
I was just gonna say, love you,
weirdlings.
We're testing it out.
Yeah, we'll see how that feels. Let us know how you feel about it.
We will let you all contribute to vote for this, so pay attention to the posts that are coming through.
Yeah, pay attention. All right, love you, weirdlings. See you next one. Bye.